I mean, this soup is like a goddamn machine who I'd let stomp on my balls any day. What up, everyone? It's your boy Floz and welcome back to another episode of Tear Up. And this time, because of its current relevance, we are going to be ranking Supes from the boys. And yeah, I know we don't have many on this list, which is why it's going to be in multiple parts. So for now, I'm focusing on like the big ones. And like when I say the big ones, that's also a little subjective. Because like season 5 of The Boys had just recently been released, a few episodes anyway. And at the time of recording this, I've only just finished watching season 1. Because like, I'd seen a shit ton of clips on TikTok to get the general gist of the show. However, after watching the first season, holy shit. There is so much to dive into. And you know, I'm not even going to hesitate. We're just going to dive right into it. The rankings for this video are as follows. God tier, The Boys, Oi, Circle 7, and Cancelled. I mean, come on, these tier names were literally staring me in the face. The Boys, The Circle 7, and the indescribable Oi. It was either that or Butcher's other favorite word. Alright, first up, we're going to start with A-Train. A-Train, who is the fastest soup. His superpowers include super speed and a faulty heart. Again, after only just finishing season 1, not a big fan of A-Train's character because he's just a compound V junkie who was having his heart fucking destroyed by it in his freaking desire, his obsession to being the fastest man alive, which will ultimately just go to Barry Allen. But again, from the shit ton of clips I've seen, I've been able to see in like A-Train's entire arc, and I will say, I honestly believe he has a Zuko level redemption arc. That's just my opinion. 2 of the greatest redemption arcs ever are him and Zuko. I will die on that hill. I'm also going to try and not give as many spoilers as I can. For some, it's probably going to be unavoidable. But if you'd ask me where I put them after just watching season 1, A-Train will probably go in Circle 7, maybe Oi. But knowing his full redemption arc, I'm putting that motherfucker up in God tier. You cannot convince me not to put him in there. Alright, pay attention, cunts, because next up we have Billy Butcher. Billy Butcher wants to take down and kill every soup to avenge the death of his wife, Becca. Which, at the very end of season 1, I'm learning more and more about. Which I'm like, oh. Wow. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to give spoilers, which is making my descriptions very lackluster. And again, the reason I'm including Billy Butcher on this is because he does eventually get powers of sorts. He actually technically got 2 different sets of powers. The first set, I believe, was from when he took Temp V. Again, I haven't gotten that far in the series. I only just finished season 1, so I've got no idea. But I believe he took Temp V, which granted him similar powers to Homelander in terms of like super strength and the heat vision. That's what I think anyway. And then the second set of powers is when I believe he just straight up took Compound V, which didn't necessarily give him powers, but his tumor within his brain powers. Yeah, dude's got a brain tumor, which essentially lets him sprout tentacles from his body. And it is disturbing. But again, as the show goes on, he gets more and more unhinged. But again, because it's Billy, I feel like it'd be disrespectful not to put him in Oi. Because, I mean, come on. It's literally what he says. Next up, we have Black Noir. Black Noir, if I remember correctly, was originally part of another superheroes crew, like way back in the day, and eventually joined the Circle 7. Now, again, only finished season 1, so I'm not exactly too sure what Noir's powers are, so I'm just gonna ballpark it and say it's increased like durability, strength, agility, just a bunch of stuff like that. That's all I can really think of. Another thing about him is that he never speaks. The first Noir, anyway. The second Noir, because the first one had an unfortunate end. The second Noir had pretty much all the same abilities. And the thing is, the second Noir, he was also a talker. And also narcoleptic. That's because the actual actor playing him was also narcoleptic. So they just wrote it into his character. And it makes for some very funny scenes. But in my opinion, there's nothing too stand outish about him. Well, I mean, aside from the not talking thing. But I think for now, I'm going to put him down in Circle 7. Don't get me wrong, I love him as a character, but I feel like his powers could be... I don't know, I'm losing my own train of thought here. Next up, we have the Deep. And wow. From season 1 alone, there's a lot to unpack with this fucker. From the beginning, he essentially sexually harasses Starlight and a number of other things that make him look unfavorable of being in the 7, to the point where they asked him to go on an indefinite sabbatical. And I had to look up what that word meant, because I don't know what sabbatical meant. Essentially, it's kind of like another word for a leave of absence, if you will. But we're getting off topic. The point is, the Deep's powers is being able to breathe underwater and communicate with sea life. To the point where he actually has, like, gills along his body, or his upper body, where his, abs would be. I couldn't remember the damn word. It's too early in the morning for this. And, from what I know, as the series go on, he just doubles down on every horrible thing he says, does, everything. And fucking sucks Homelander off every goddamn chance he gets, because he's a fucking pansy. So much so that I don't even want to waste any more breath talking about him. He's going and canceled. He's going down in the deep. Next up, I haven't gotten this far in the series yet, but we have Firecracker. Now, in my opinion, I'm calling her Firecracker because fire with her red hair, and cracker because, well, she's, yeah. And, Firecracker's probably as, deep south country as it can get. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I got a thing for redheads. She's starting to ruin that. And you've got to be quite a shitty person to ruin that for me. And, I haven't seen enough clips or of the show. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't really know what her powers are. And, she also showed her devotion to Homelander in a very disturbing way, which I'm not even going to repeat because it just fucks my own brain up. But it's at a point where I need to put her down and canceled for all redheads everywhere. You are far better than this bitch. Next up, we have Homelander. This evil, evil motherfucker. From season 1 alone, when he's not out saving people, just behind the scenes with Madeline Stillwell, every single scene they had together made me fucking cringe, want to gouge out my eyes, and I'm just like, oh my god, it hurts to even think. Again, from clips I've seen on TikTok, I always called him a fucking man-child. I was wrong. I should have called him a fucking man-baby. From season 1 alone. Emphasis on baby. But I guess that would make sense from a deep onset trauma from early childhood when he was studied as a lab subject when Compound V was injected into his system from birth. Actually, no, not even from birth. He was placed in an embryo and then lasered out of his mother's stomach. Very disturbing. But the point is, Homelander's abilities include flight, strength, enhanced durability, and laser vision. Am I forgetting it? Oh, super hearing, X-ray vision, probably a few others I can't remember at the very moment. Don't get me wrong, he has amazing powers. But if he just was a little less demented, could be a bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put him down in, Oi, home's my belly butcher. If you wanted to go further up, he cost him tenner. I know, my accent's horrible. Next up, we have Huey Campbell. Again, probably my favorite character of the boys. Again, in season 1, at least, Huey never had powers. But again, from clips I've seen, I believe later on, he also takes Temp V. He never takes the actual Compound V. And gains the power to teleport. But only himself. His clothes do not teleport with him. So essentially, he just teleports and presents himself to the world, so to speak. I mean, that's a decent power. Just an unfortunate side effect. But here's a question. What if he breaks a bone and needs a metal implant instead? If he teleports, is the metal implant just going to be left behind? Or is it going to go with him now that it's part of his person? Does the teleportation only work on his organic body? This is probably a question that was already answered in the show. I just haven't gotten that far yet. But again, like I said, Huey is by far my favorite character, and I think for that alone, I need to put him up in God tier. 100%. Yeah. Next up, we have Kimiko, who sometimes goes by the female. Now, I don't know if she was... No, I know for a fact she wasn't born with the Compound V in her system. She was eventually injected with Compound V, which essentially gave her incredible regenerative capabilities. Because there was a scene where she was fighting Noir, and I don't know if like her leg was broken, or like, I know she had like part of her side like stabbed and like ripped out or whatever the fuck. And like, she was able to completely heal it within maybe 10 seconds. That is nutty. Would I love that power? Absolutely. Do I love Kimiko as a character? Also absolutely. She and her brother were captured and forced to fight for this terrorist group. Evil terrorist. She eventually escaped and swore that she would come back to save her brother. And got fucking captured by Vought. So it didn't really go as planned, did it, Kimiko? But you know what? I love her as a character. And even though she's a female, I'm put her up in the boys. Because you know what? She's a member of the boys. Next up we have Queen Maeve, a far better redhead. In the boys universe, she's like the Wonder Woman-esque character. The big brutalizer. She eventually started out with like hopes and dreams and everything, being a great hero, wanting to save people. But the corporate side of Vought pretty much ruined that for her. Again, from what I know, her powers include increased strength, increased durability. I believe that's it. Again, Wonder Woman-esque type powers. I mean, this Supe is like a goddamn machine who I'd let stomp on my balls any day. Just from the redheadedness alone. Oh, Lord! And from what I've seen in clips, Maeve also does have a bit of a redemption arc as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put her up in God tier. Because, again, the redheadedness alone. Hey, that's something I noticed. One absolutely amazing redhead. And one fucking awful one I wish would go and die. Next up, we have Sister Sage. Who, initially when I was seeing clips, I actually thought she didn't have a superpower. I just thought she was, like, incredibly smart. But after seeing more clips, I learned that she actually does have superpowers with the Compound V and everything. And it does affect her intellect, her massive fucking intellect. And much like Kimiko, she has regenerative abilities, but they only affect her brain. So like, if her arm gets sliced off, fuck. If her leg gets sliced off, fucked. If her tits get sliced off, fucked. But her brain, that shit will regrow. And it gets to a point where she has to fucking lobotomize herself just to get a break from being her. If you're willing to do that to yourself just to get a break, oh, you must be in a goddamn hell in your head. I speak from experience. I mean, like, a massive intellect is a good power to have, but what she's using it for, not a big fan of that. But then again, she could very well have some underlying motive. So I think for that, I'm going to put her above Homelander and put her in The Boys, even though she will never be a member of The Boys. Or maybe she will. Maybe her plans eventually to betray Homelander and join The Boys. Oh, that could be something that happens. Not again, all of season 5 hasn't been released, so maybe that's what happens. I gotta get through the series. Next up, we have Soldier Boy, played by Jensen Ackles, America's daddy. Not to offend America's other daddy, Ryan Reynolds. But Ryan Reynolds is like cute daddy, Jensen Ackles is hot daddy. Where am I going with this? Point is, Soldier Boy was one of the first Supes ever made, I believe. And he was injected with the original Compound V, V1, which, let's see if I can remember the powers it gave him. It obviously gave him, like, increased durability, super strength. I do also believe it gave him a power to, like, pretty much, like, oh, what's the word? Like, vaporize the Compound V out of a Supes system, and at the same time, he's also, like, essentially a nuclear warhead, just not nuclear, but very warhead-like. I'm not a good talker, as you've probably figured out by now. Honestly, I can't help but feel bad for Soldier Boy. Motherfucker was taken advantage of and betrayed by nearly everyone he encountered in the fucking show. Again, just from what I've seen. So, again, amazing powers, sympathetic backstory, and Jensen fucking Ackles? Come on. Not putting him in God tier would have been a crime. A crime that I would just need punishing for. Okay, we're not going to do that. Next up, we have Starlight. She can punish me for any crime. Okay. Okay, sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Again, from just finishing season 1, Starlight was the newest member of the 7. It was her dream to always be a great superhero, to save people, to be a true hero. Her mom and Vought had other plans. From day one, she'd been fucking sexualized by everyone at Vought. And some, like the Deep, went so far as to actually use that shit. Again, the Deep is a fucking despicable character. But Starlight, I believe her powers literally derive from, like, powered things around her. She can, like, take the energy from power sources, create, like, blinding beams of light from her hands, and just, like, again, create, like, a blinding fucking light. It is nutty what she can do. And I think she eventually learns to fly. And, like, she probably also had one of, like, the purest hearts of anyone in The Boys. So, again, I think for that alone, I need to put her up in God tier. That's just my opinion. Oh, she also dated Huey Campbell. The best character. So she also deserves to be in God tier for that. Next up, we have Stormfront. Now, again, I literally just got into season 2 when Stormfront is introduced. But from what I know, Stormfront was actually a Supe born back in 1919, given the original V1. So, also like Soldier Boy, they've essentially gained immortality. I don't know exactly what her powers are, but I do believe she can fly. I believe she has, like, the ability to create weather phenomenon or, like, shoot lightning out of her hands or something. I have to watch more of the show to know for sure. But she was married to the creator of Compound V, Frederick Vought. And here's another thing. They were fucking Nazis! That's right, a fucking Nazi superhero. The Nazis were the ones to create superheroes. How the fuck? And then, of course, we took them and turned them into America's sweethearts. Because that's just what we do. Again, I mean, Stormfront's kind of fine, and she has good powers, but I think for the overwhelming Nazism, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm really not. And the final one on this list is Translucent, which, again, very stupid name, because, as Billy Butcher said, oi, dumb cunt, Translucent doesn't mean invisible. It means semi-transparent. Again, I need to do a lot of practice with my butcher voice. I think I'm being a little too raspy. Doesn't matter. Point is, translucent. His skin is like a carbon fiber material sort of thing, which essentially like refracts light, rendering himself invisible to the naked eye, which a power he uses to peep on girls in the bathroom. Fucking perv. And the only way they were able to get through his skin and kill him was by shoving a bunch of plastic explosives up his booty hole. And then he all go like, he done blow up. He was the first Supe that the boys managed to kill, and it was a glorious bloodfest. Again, powers. Decent powers. Wasted on a very shitty human being. But then again, how well can these powers actually be used to save people, though? That's something you gotta think about. It's a cool power, but I feel like it doesn't do as much. And somehow I actually don't believe he's as shitty as a human being as anyone in Cancelled. So I think for that, I have to put him up in Circle 7. Which in all fairness, he was a member of the Circle 7 for like 2 episodes. And then he died. I told you this video contains spoilers. And we're going to end it off right here. So you know what? I've been Floz MG. This has been Tier Up Ranking Supes from The Boys Part 1. Definitely going to be parts in the future. And I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Bye!